How's it going, everyone? Just another video in regards to T events. We're going to be covering the new T conditions that are coming out in the 3.8.3 video. We're going to be covering the basics of them. Right now they're a little bit limited. I have asked people for some suggestions, and they're currently being implemented before the update that comes out next week. So it won't just be T conditions, it will be a new tool that we'll cover in this video as well. And then I'll also show a little project setup that can maybe be fun for some of you. It's basically Russian roulette, where 4 players can sit down in a chair and it'll randomly pick one of them and kill them. Yeah. So I think the first thing we're going to cover is the changes, so some of the quality of life stuff that is in the update and the T conditions. So if we look here, we have a door that opens and closes, and because this isn't the first time I've recorded this video, this is probably still set up from that point, and it is. So I'm just going to remove that, and I'm just going to go save, and I'm going to go close, and we're going to pretend we didn't see anything. So one of the setups I've seen people do is something like this. So we have a door controlled by a T control, and we have a T zone here, and that's weird because what did I name this? That's right. Okay, we'll just call that door control for ease. So yeah, basically they use a T zone, and they have it that when you walk into the T zone, it opens the door like so, and then when they, how come that's still firing? Oh, I didn't save it. I'm not gonna have it of that. Alright. Is that gonna... yeah, there we go. Alright, so yeah, so they use T-zones to open and close doors automatically. The only limitation to that is, what if you only want to allow, say, specific people through that door? And T conditions are the answer for that. I also want to apologize in advance if I seem a bit nasally. I'm still a little bit sick. I'm on the tail end, but yes, it's been a tough week. So one thing you'll notice here is we have a new panel down here. So in the original release, or stage 1 I'll call it, of T events, we only had the ability to create T actions. We could create multiple performs, but each perform was limited to 1 T action. As of 3.8.3, that is no longer the case. So when you create a perform now, you can now add multiple T actions, like so, or multiple conditions. You can also remove them easily, so just by clicking the minus, and then if you wanted to add more, you can hit the plus. So what we want to do is we want to set this up, and we want to look for our door control. Door control, we want to use doors, all of them because there's only one. Open normal, we'll save, close, apply, close. Now I'm just going to quickly test this that we have. Alright, cool. So now we've got basically the functionality that you can implement with the current version of Pippi. So now, if we wanted to, say, limit people from coming in or opening this door by, I don't know, their ranks, we can create a new condition. We can then select open door, which is the T event in front of us. I know this because I did this in the past. And what we want to do is we want to use the entering player, which is the player who last entered this T zone. So when a player enters, the last person who entered that T zone is that player. And then we can perform a bunch of checks on them depending on what we want to do. Right now there is 6 by default. This will change for before Wednesday next week. I just need to test a few. But what we want to do is we want to do a rank check. And we can basically say, well, any rank, or any player, sorry, that is of a moderator, open the door. So if we save that, close, apply, close, as you can see here, I'm not a moderator, so if I walk into this, it will not open the door. Now, if I change my rank to moderator, just by setting the rank tag here, then the door opens, I can walk through, and then it closes. Now, if we T conditions can be of two states, so they can be a condition or what I've called a not condition. Now, for those of you that know what I'm talking about, essentially all this does is just flip the returning bool. So true becomes false, false becomes true. So if we wanted everyone except for moderator to open this door, then we would set that to a not condition and we would check the moderator. And then we can go save, close, apply, close. Now, because we're a moderator, it's not going to open. And you may be wondering, but you've got normal and admin. And it's like, yeah, that is true, but we are still a moderator. So if we remove that, we're no longer a moderator, but we're still an admin and a normal player. So now we can open the door like we want to. So that's just one of the many ways of using conditions. There are others that you can use. So let's just have a look at what I've got implemented currently. So we've got level checks. So if you wanted to check if their level is greater than, equal to, or less than, so you could have it that players that are under the level 20, so that would be 19 to 1, so you might want to make it less than 21, so that way it'd be 20 and under. If their specific levels equals, obviously, so if they are level 20, they can then execute this action on this T perform, or greater than, so you could have it that players above the level 19, which would be 20 to whatever, 60 by default, unless you have a mod that allows more levels. Carvars, you know what carvars are, so you can check if a carvar is less than, equal, or greater than. Ranks, we just went over those. Attributes, so you can check their health, stamina, encumbrance, might, accuracy, athleticism, and metabolism. I have no idea what resilience is for, but it's in the game, so if it's used or not, who knows. And basically you can perform the same operations on those, so less than, equals, or greater than. Clan rank, so if a clan, if a clan is in a clan, what? If a player is in a clan, what is their rank within that clan? Or if they're not in a clan, then they can open the door. So if you had like, solo players lounge or something, then only solo players can go in there. And last but not least, quest flags. So you can check if they are completed, if they're not completed, and yeah, stuff like that. Just one thing to keep in mind, that if you wanted to check if a quest flag was completed, if they didn't have the quest, that obviously would also turn false as well. But if they had not completed, that would also return false. Yeah, that's right. Anyway, moving on. So that's conditions. Actually, one more thing I want to point out is if you can actually set multiple conditions for whatever actions are defined here. So if you have, for instance, we'll do a level check. They have to be greater than 9, so that means they have to be 10 or above. And then they have to, let's open door, entering player. Attribute, might, greater than fucking 9. There we go. So both of these checks would need to return true for then these actions to be executed. So it's level check and attribute check and blah 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 and but obviously you can also flip your logic by making them not conditions if you want to do like this and not this. And yes, I think that just about covers the T conditions. Obviously it's one of those things, once again, where it's best for you to just play around with it, you know, like you're 15 again. What is next? The new tool. So, how to explain the new tool? Well, first, here it is. Let's see if you can take a guess just from what it's called. It's called a T-rand. Basically, it is a randomizing placeable that allows you to create T-rand entries and specify a weight based on their chance of executing. So when this T-rand is invoked through a T action, then depending on the weighted entries within here, depends on what T event will actually execute. So if we had the first entry with a weight of 2, then it has a 50% chance of being executed, and then the other two have 25. If we increase that to 9, or was it 8? 8. Then we have 80% chance, and obviously 10% for the others. If we then increase that to 4, 61.54, 30%, and 7.69. So by adjusting the weights, I added it so that you can see the probability of the outcome from this. The little project with the Russian roulette uses a T-ran to pick a random player to kill, so we'll go over that. And yeah, basically it's pretty much the same as any other T event to add actions to. You know, so you can go server, online players, kill all, and then make that like 1, 20, 20, and then you get a 2.44% chance to kill every single person on the server if this was invoked. And that's the general gist of it. Let's remove that. So now this is the little project that I'm going to show you how it's made, so that you can maybe recreate it for a little project and maybe build upon it, because there are some areas that this could be built upon. So right now by default it's triggered with a T plate, but you could have it that there is it doesn't execute until, you know, there's 4 players sitting down, and then you can have it that when a player gets up prematurely it kills them. But I'll just quickly show you what it does. So I've got this T plate on a 5-second cooldown delay, and it is executed on reset. So I will show you what it does first. The red indicates the chair that would have been, or the chair that would have executed the player within it. So we push it down. Comes back up, starts rotating, and then picks a chair and kills him. We can do it again. Picks a chair and kills him. So let's look at how this works. So for starters, we're going to break down the placeables, or the TTools that were used to make this. So we've got 4 zones, 4 T zones. There's actually nothing in these, so nothing in player enters, nothing in when the player leaves. The only thing that is configured on them is they are named. So kill zone 3. So we've got kill zone 0, kill zone 1, kill zone 2, and kill zone 3. And I've just toggled off the visual area. We also have globs, pretty much the same deal. All that's been done to them is they've been named, so glob 0, glob 1, glob 2, and glob 3. And the reason I do that is just for identification purposes. So if I, in my head, assign this as chair 0, then everything will then have a 0 at the end. And yes, this is a wallpaper. It simply has 4 frames. As you can see here, we've got arrow down, arrow left, arrow right, arrow up. You can see the amazing amount of effort that I've put into making these look really nice. Not. And one thing I do want to address is, because I know there was a player that did this. So wallpapers are optimized for when they increment their source index when it's configured within the wallpaper itself. Then it's not really optimal to set the source index, say with T events, to have them perform an animation, because every time you set that, it needs to replicate that change to all the clients around you. When you check that it increments source index here, what it does is when it just replicates a simple bool, and then your client starts animating and iterating through all of the frames. That way there's no extra network traffic, I guess you could say, in saying, well, we need to be this frame. And realistically, when you're doing things like this, the accuracy of which frame it is on all clients isn't really a necessity, I can't imagine, in most cases. So yeah, what we can do is, in this system, it kind of gives the illusion that it's cycling through all the indexes, but what's really happening is the T sequencer. There is a T sequencer. Is basically checking this on the wallpaper. That's replicating to the client. It's doing the animation. And then when that time expires, I think I've got it set to 3 seconds. It then sets the, it stops incrementing the source index and then sets the source index. So it's kind of like a transition. It'll stop and then update to where it should be. So yeah, that's the basic setup that you need here. And then the tools, extra tools, minus the T-zones obviously, is a new T-rand, a T-sequence or a T-sex, and a T-plate. If we look here in the T-rand, we can see here, look, once again, chair 0, chair 1, chair 2, and chair 3 all have the same weight of 1, which then gives them a 25% chance each. And if we look here, in the T events for here, we've got it, so when a chair is picked, we will set the corresponding glob to the color red. We will set the image of the rotate arrows wallpaper to source 0. Sorry about that. And then we'll kill the player. And that is the same for each of these, with the exception that the reference changes. So we've got glob 1, and rotate arrows is the same, but the source index is increased. And that is like that. And I mean, you get the idea, glob 2, yada yada yada. So then that just sits there, lays dormant until it's invoked. So now if we look into the T-sec, I've actually labeled these, so we've got reset globs and start animation, and then choose victim and execute. So we've got a half a second delay. And if we look here, all this does is it invokes the trigger on the wallpaper to enable source incrementation, and then sets all the globs to green. That's our resetting in quotes. And then after that, we then wait 3 seconds and then execute this T event, which chooses a victim and executes them. And this one's really simple because all it does is stop the rotation, and then it invokes a random T event on the T-rand reference. And then that also lays dormant there. I mean, you could check auto loop, but then it would keep cycling through it over and over and over and over again. And we don't want that. So we'll just leave it as is. And then last but not least, we have the T plate. And I just derped. So on reset, we can check here. All this does is on Russian T-sec for Russian roulette. I mean, we could have named this Cybercat T-sec, but it is what it is. And then we invoke a trigger to start the sequence. And then, at the end of the day, we can sit down on our chair, and when the button comes up, we can be lucky today. I mean, I'll give it a few more goes. I'll sit on this one. There we go. And yeah, so that's pretty much a quick rundown on some of the new things that are coming in the next update. And yes, apart from that, good luck and have fun.